This is future editing Caroline coming back to tell you something that I was so excited to tell you about, and I was saving it all the way to the end, to all the personal information at the end, and then it slipped my mind. But it was the one thing that I really wanted to tell you about. Now, it is personal, but it's also related to stitching. So I am going to tell you about it right now, right at the very beginning, before I start anything else, because in October of this year, Carrie Mascio, Leo&Roxy Flosstube, and myself are traveling to the other London, the big London, the one that you need to get onto a plane and fly over an ocean, because there's a stitching retreat there. And Carrie and I have decided to go. We're gonna go. Stitches in London. We're gonna be there. So if you're going, I'm really excited to meet you. It is being hosted by Marie of Stitches and Diamonds. You can find her on Instagram and YouTube if you're also in the UK and you want more information. And we managed to convince Lori Sykes of My Crazy Life. She's going too. So yeah, it's gonna be really amazing. Like, it was totally a last minute kind of, you know, Carrie said, do you want to, I'm gonna do this, do you want to come? And John said, yeah, you should do it. You should do it. And so I'm doing it. So we're going to the UK. We're going to the big London. We're going to be in the other London in October of this year. I think the dates are, what are the dates? It's the 14th, 13th, 14th, somewhere in there. It's that weekend, right after Thanksgiving, Canadian Thanksgiving. So Canadian Thanksgiving is the weekend. The next weekend is that event in the big London. So yeah, we're pretty excited. I was so excited to tell you, and then I got all the way to the end of the podcast and I didn't tell you about it. So I wanted to make sure that I did mention it right here up front, because I don't know if there's still spots, but if you live in the UK and you didn't even know that there was a stitching retreat in London, now you know. So you're going to want to, and if you're not on Instagram and you want to figure out how to get a hold of Marie, leave me a comment in the you know, below this video, and if you want to come as well, I'll see if I can get you in contact with the organizer of the event. As far as I know, there's still spots. I don't think it's sold out. I haven't seen any information that says that it's sold out. So yeah, it's gonna be amazing. Okay, so now I've shared my biggest news with you. Let's get to the rest of the podcast. Is it called a podcast? I always wonder that. I say podcast and then I'm like, it's not a podcast. It's like a video tube, YouTube, but it's not a vlog, because I'm not taking you with me on the rest of my day, you know, doing other stuff. Is it a podcast or is it a video? It's a floss tube. Let's get to the rest of the floss tube. Happy Tuesday, floss tube. Hello, crafty friends. How's everybody doing today? My name's Caroline. Welcome back to my channel. This is going to be a video all about cross stitch with a little bit of knitting thrown in. I'm recording here in London, Ontario, Canada today. I'm currently at my workshop, which is Evertote, which is my small business where I make and sell project bags for crafters, as well as we are the exclusive home of Leo&Roxy Flosstube, and brand new, the home of Hearthside Craftworks. Lap frames and floor frames for stitchers. It's official. It is official. The paperwork has been signed, dotted, and John, my husband John, is traveling to Calgary, Alberta, Canada at the end of this month to spend a week with John Wilkes. John and his wife Helen are the people behind Hearthside Craftworks. They started the business. John has been making the Hearthside Craftworks stands that we all know and love for so many years, and my husband John is going to learn from him, and come September 1st he's going to begin making them himself. So more on that, sort of more of a personal bent on all of that kind of stuff. I'll save till the end of today's visit, and just other personal stuff, because we've got lots of stitching stuff to talk about today. It's been 2 weeks since my last video. Today is Tuesday, August the 9th. Now I did put up 4 videos last week on my second channel, which is actually a workshop specific channel called Evertote Notes from the Workshop. And I did videos last week on a number of different things, including registration for Jacobpalooza, which is the retreat, 2 weekends in Canada next October 2023 here in London, Ontario, where Jacob de Graaf of Modern Folk Embroidery is going to be coming here. We're hosting 2 weekend retreats. There was also a video there. Oh, I did a floss toss with Carrie Mascio of Leo&Roxy Flosstube. That was last Friday. We did a video together where we looked through all the linens and put some floss combinations on. And there were a couple, there was a giveaway video. And what else was there? There was, oh, of course, there were the shop models that Ellen had, my friend Ellen. I always say my friend Ellen, and I'm always teased mercilessly for it. It's fine, she is my friend, and her name is Ellen. Ellen Reed, Maximum Cross Stitch Power Hour, stitched 2 models to go with the Blackbird Designs Honeysuckle Manor booklet chart, and there was a video about that last week as well. I will put links in the drop down box below if there's anything there that you might be interested in more information on. So yeah, but there was no regular Flosstube video last week. It was a full week. I have been working on there are 3 projects that I've been working on that I've been consistently trying to share progress with you to keep myself on track, keep my motivation high. They are big projects, projects that I would like to see finished. The first one is a piece by Sampler Cove. It's called Amtrak. And I did not bring these pieces here today just because transporting them back and forth, it takes more time to get it off the frame, and then I'm less likely to, you know, put it back on the frame and keep working on it. So to keep my motivation going, I left them on the frame. I took some photos. So Amtrak, this is one of my oldest works in progress. I've been working on it for years. And if you're a longtime friend of mine on this channel, you've seen it. You've seen me share it before many times. So new today, I had a viewer reach out, and I don't have her permission to share her name, but she did recently purchase a copy of Amtrak. Now I had, where did it go? I had the cover model. Here it is. That's the cover photo of Amtrak. Now, mine is a little bit different than the cover model because I kind of messed up, and I started it from the bottom up, and at some point over the last 10 years, I flipped it and I started stitching it top down, and so 2 of my corners on the chart are actually switched around. I can't remember which way, but it really doesn't matter because I just have to change the orientation. These 2 corners here are, you can see that they're repeated. That one there is the same as that one, and then that corner motif is repeated there. So I just have to switch them around so that I don't have 2 falling in the same place. Other than that, it's fine. But yes, mine is a little bit different than the model. Creative license. So yes, this is one of my oldest projects. I am using a really old silk floss by Vikki Clayton, hand-dyed fibers, back from 2008. I say this every week. 2010, not quite that old. So 2010, in the colorway Night Smoke and Steelies. So those are the blues and the grays there. Let's see. And then OMG Red 1149 is the red. So yeah, this is old stash. Now, keep Vikki Clayton silk thread in your mind because I have something to share with you. See that pile over there? I'm going to share that with you right after I talk about this. I had a viewer and customer contact me, and she had purchased the Amtrak chart. You can find it from an online shop in the States called www.celtichobbies.com. I'll leave a link in the drop down box below. Also, Claire, the owner of that shop, and I've talked about Claire before. When I was stitching my Oz, was it Oz? Which one was it? Savon. Savon was the last one that I finished, which is Landmark Tapestries and Charts, and Claire is one of the only places, she is like the only place you can find those charts. And she was donating $1 of every chart sale to Muscular Dystrophy Canada back at the time, throughout the time that I was working on that project. Well, guess what? She is offered the exact same thing this time now with Amtrak. I think she noticed that there were a few sales of this pattern, and Claire is donating $1 of every sale of the Amtrak chart to the Brain Aneurysm Foundation of the United States, which is meaningful to my husband and I at the moment because my husband John and I are fundraising for the Brain Aneurysm Foundation. He is on their team for the New York City marathon that's in November, and he's going to be running that marathon. So $1 for every Amtrak chart Claire is donating to the Brain Aneurysm Foundation, which is amazing. So thank you, Claire. Thank you very much. So I did have a viewer purchase this chart, and then they contacted me and they said, what can you tell me more about your floss? So I did. And Vikki Clayton is a silk floss. I know that she has a website, but you would have to contact her directly about these colors. They're quite old, so you'd have to contact her directly and ask her about them. I will put the exact names in the drop-down box below. I did a Leo&Roxy Flosstube conversion to colors. I sell Carrie's floss now. I sell Carrie's linen and Carrie's floss. So any new project that I'm going to be starting for the next however long is going to use Carrie's linen and overdyed cotton floss. It's just, I love it. I sell it. It's what I am using. So if I were to stitch Amtrak today, these are the colors I would pick. They're very similar. So because I'm really thrilled with the color palette, the blue, the red, and the gray. So I picked 3 Leo&Roxy Flosstube colors. And since I was sharing them with this customer, I thought I would share them with you in case you were interested. I'm frequently asked about the projects that I'm stitching and if I can recommend various things. So this might answer a few other questions out there. So these 3 colors are called Merlot, Seize the Day, and that's S-E-A-S, and Earl Grey. So those are the 3 colors. As you can see, we've got a red, a dark blue, and a gray. The Earl Grey Leo&Roxy Flosstube is a little bit lighter than the Vikki Clayton silk that I'm using, but I really like this combo together. This blue, the Seize the Day, is a really, really rich, dark blue. Now I'll tell you something else about that floss in just a minute. So there you can see those 3 together. Merlot is really, really bright and pretty. It's a really nice combo. So Seize the Day. This is a gorgeous floss. It's fairly new. Believe it came out around the same time that we did a floss conversion for the Rosewood Manor Winter Quakers design. It is, it's the dark blue. I believe it's the dark blue that's used in the chart. Now my memory is failing me. It was either Seize the Day or Caspian. They're in the same color family, but Seize the Day is a darker version of Caspian. And then there's Salty Place as well. Those three blues are the same color family. Lighter, medium, more variegated, and then this nice, beautiful dark blue. I was on Instagram last week and somebody had tagged me on a post because they were using Seize the Day in a modern folk embroidery monochromatic piece. And it had never occurred to me to use this in a monochromatic design. It was, and I did ask her permission if I could share this. So I'm gonna pop in some screenshots here of her piece because it's gorgeous. And it was so unexpected because it comes up a little bit lighter. Of course, she might be stitching, I think she's stitching one thread on a 40 count, if I'm not mistaken. I would have to double check her information. I'll leave her Instagram, I'll put it up on the screen over top of her photo so that you can check her out on Instagram if you're on Instagram, and then you can see it as well. But it makes a beautiful monochromatic blue. It was the Hound Doth Chase. I'm pretty sure that was the chart. Yeah, gorgeous. Gorgeous. So that is Seize the Day. And that blue is phenomenal. Anyways, those three. So Amtrak, I'm using Vikki Clayton silks. The two that are on the bobbin are, they're all 6-ply actually, 6-ply stranded silk, and lovely to work with. And here's my progress. So I'll leave the photo up while I'm just talking about it here. You can see that I have focused, I'm really trying hard to finish that one band. It's very stitch heavy. There are a lot of stitches in there, and I am stitching this on a piece of 25 count even weave, one strand of floss over one. It's very small. It requires concentration because there's no way I'm gonna wanna frog it. And it's, yeah, so it's one that I've been taking my time with. And again, because I'm so familiar with this project, it's not really, you know, the new and shiny thing to play with in the corner. So I do have to make sure I leave it on my floor frame, and it's there in my stitching spot in my bedroom. So when I walk into my bedroom, I see it every day, and I've been trying to every day or every other day put at least one length of floss into it. And you know, I think you can really see the progress. It adds up over time, and I am determined to finish it because I love big projects. I really love big projects. They're, I don't know, I'm just drawn to, you know, I like knitting afghans. I like making quilts. I love, you know, big, huge projects. The bigger the better. But at the moment in my life, time is at a premium. So, you know, these big projects, I'm also nowhere close to being a monogamous crafter. Even one project per craft. So in order for these bigger things that I really want to see finished, I will tell you though, knowing that I want to share it with you has really, you know, sort of lit the fire, and it's been a big help. So thank you for putting up with hearing about it week after week after week. I appreciate it. So again, that's Amtrak by Sampler Cove. And before I get to the other project, because the other one I'll be brief, it's an afghan that I'm knitting for my daughter Sarah, but I want to continue on the Vikki Clayton train here, because if we circle back a little bit to when I mentioned the fundraising that my husband and I are doing for the Brain Aneurysm Foundation, I have had a couple of viewers send me things to help with some auctions that I'm running over on my Instagram page. I have 2 accounts on Instagram. The Off the Grid Needle Arts one is pretty much, I just use that one for personal use. There's not really a lot of activity on there. The other one is my Evertotes page. We're much more, I and Hannah, who works here with me at Evertote, we're much more active over there on that page. And so it's been a couple of weeks now since we've done one, but I've been running some auctions there. Entirely lifted this idea from Michelle Bendy. Full credit to her for figuring out how to run an auction like this through Instagram, where 100% of the money that is being auctioned and spent on the item that's being donated is going directly to the charity. None of it is coming to the person running the auction, which would be me and Hannah, through Instagram. It's not promoted by Instagram, none of that. It is entirely, the money that is bid on the item is donated directly to the Brain Aneurysm Foundation of the United States. Then the winning bidder then sends an email with us with screen proof that they paid their donation, and then we mail the auction item to them. My business, Evertote, we cover all of the postage fees for those things, and we also have provided some of the things that have been auctioned off as well. So I had a couple of viewers send me some pretty wonderful things. Anne sent a bundle of charts, and a couple, one of them at least was fully kitted up. I've auctioned a few of her things off already, but I still have some more charts from Anne. And then another viewer, Maureen from the Hammer. And that's funny, if you live in Ontario, you'll understand why. It's anyone who lives in southwestern Ontario, we all know where the Hammer is, and it makes me smile every time. I grew up near the Hammer, so it's Hamilton, Ontario. In many friendly circles is fondly called the Hammer. So, and I know there's a place in the States that's known as the Hammer. I know that. But if you live in southwestern Ontario, it's Hamilton. Hamilton, Ontario is known as the Hammer. So you can discuss that amongst yourselves, but it is Hamilton, Ontario. It's the Hammer. So Maureen and the Hammer sent me a box full of Vikki Clayton silks and some fabrics to auction off. Amazing. I started those auctions off with some Vikki Clayton silk that I had in my stash. It's special stuff. The old stuff is, and this is all from around the same time frame. It's 2009, 2010, vintage Vikki Clayton silks. Some of it has been dipped into, some of it's been used, but it's all, there's a ton of it, you guys. Maureen knew that these silks would be going to good homes, people, stitchers who would know its value, know its worth, know its specialness. So Maureen, thank you. I have a funny feeling that we will reach our fundraising goals with the next few auctions that we've got. So we are closing in on $5,000 money raised for the Brain Aneurysm Foundation. So it's quite exciting. So I'm not going to show them all here because they are going to be, there will be much better photos taken on our Instagram page, but there is, and again, I cannot guarantee amounts or anything like that. I'll do my best to showcase what it is and any labeling that's on them, but again, some of them don't have labels, so I don't know yardages or anything like that. So there's purples and there's blues, there's variegateds. Look at this beautiful color there. Again, I know I'm doing a poor job of showing you these because I don't want to take them out of the packaging until we're ready to take photos, and then they're going to go right back into the packaging to keep them clean. So sorry, I'm not taking them out of the packaging for you, but if you go and follow Evertote's Instagram account, I know it's Evertotes on Instagram with an S. My business name is Evertote with no S. Someone had taken Evertote on Instagram, so I don't know. But that's just the first stack, you guys. There's a second stack. Like look at all of this silk. It's all going to be auctioned off to raise money for the Brain Aneurysm Foundation. And Maureen also sent a small stack, y'all, of HDF Vikki Clayton linens. So what I'm going to do is I will probably pair a couple of linens with some silks, and any colors that are the same will be going together, and I will likely try to add a chart from Anne into the mix as well. So there's going to be some good auctions coming up. So you're going to want to watch out for that, especially if you're a fan of Vikki Clayton silks. Yeah, there was some variegated ones in here. Where did they go? Oh, there's a whole pile of variegated ones, but look at these fun colors. Can you even see them through the thing? I think you can. Look at that. Yeah. How fun. How fun are those colors? These ones look like tiger eyes. Look at that. Cool. So cool. Look at that blue. Yeah, amazing. That blue and that peach, I think I'm gonna have to put those together. Look at, I know, but I'm not taking it out of the packaging. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I promise, when we take them out and do the photos for the auction, you'll be able to see them clearly, the colors. Okay. So forgive all the noise and the scrunching and the crumpling. Oh, I missed one. There was one lonely. Oh, this variegated. It's got a blue and a purple and a green in there. That. Beautiful. That one's all by itself. And that skein looks almost full. That's beautiful. Maureen and Anne, thank you so much. So yeah, with that, we will have reached our goal. And of course, we're going to continue raising money right up until race day. And yeah, it's been great. So the other project that I'm really focusing on, and let me tell you, when the weather has been 43 degrees with humidity, that's Celsius. We're in Canada. We use the metric system. We use the metric system when it's convenient, and we use the imperial system when it's there was this meme once that I saw, and I know I've mentioned this before. It's like how to measure when you're a Canadian. When do you use what? And it was completely accurate, because when we weigh ourselves, you know, as humans in Canada, we talk about pounds, unless you go to the doctors. Some of the newer clinics will talk about kilograms, but mostly if you're weighing yourself at home, you're talking about, you know, pounds. If you're baking, we use cups and spoons, tablespoons, etc. Whereas I know in England, where they also use the metric system, and many other countries, I'm using England for example because my mother-in-law was British, and whenever she would bake or cook, she would use the metric system. So she would use, you know, grams. She would measure things, and anyways, I digress. How did I get there? How did I get there? I don't even remember. I don't even remember how I got there. Anyways, let's talk about Sarah's afghan. Sarah's, I'm sure it will clue in, and I've left a thread. I've left a thread that I haven't completed, but hopefully I'll get back there in a few minutes. Anyways, Sarah's afghan. I have been knitting her an afghan for the last few years, and it really sort of hit a halt. Oh, I know, humidity. There we go. The temperature is 43 degrees with the Humidex. Us curly-headed people have been, you know, wearing a lot of hats because, whoo boy, it's been humid. I know it's been hot everywhere. It's been desperately hot. And for those people who are not equipped to deal with this heat, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, because it is it's very unpleasant and it's dangerous. It's awful. So I hope that everybody is doing okay. But yes, knitting a huge wool afghan in 43 degrees would only have been possible here in London, where we have air conditioning. If I'd been at the cottage this summer, I probably would not have been working on it. It's just too hot. Just too hot. So Sarah's afghan, I have been working on it. I took some photos because I laid it out on my bed to kind of get an idea of how much it's grown. And I took a photo of where my progress keeper is since the last time I shared it with you. So again, I'm going to put these photos in over top of me talking to you about it. This is, so I think I've knit another 1.5 inches, 2 inches maybe. I might be generous by saying 2 inches. It is the Talon Throw by Brooklyn Tweed. Heavily cabled, very long rows, but a pleasure to knit. I love this pattern. I love, love, love this pattern. And my daughter loves it as well. She really is, the design and the color are really sort of her style, her aesthetic. And so she's really excited for me to finish it. So my plan is to have it finished about a year from now. That's my goal. It was always the plan to have it done by the time she graduated, which is this, she's just about to begin her last year of university. And well, she will not be convocating until October because she is going on an exchange in January. So my daughter's doing an exchange, and because of that exchange, it means that she can't convocate with the rest of her class. She will why is that so hard today to say that? She will convocate at a later date, so next October. So she told me that I could have until October to finish her blanket, and I'm gonna take every last day. The yarn that I'm using is by Berroco. It's a Berroco yarn, Berroco Vintage, which is it's an acrylic wool blend. Very great workhorse yarn, washes and wears really well. So it'll be really easy for her to take care of. So that's that. Progress has been made. For stitching projects that I brought here to share with you, I have a few. First up is my Witch by La Di Da. And the last time I shared this with you, I had to do some frogging because I'd made a mistake. And let me tell you, I spent all Saturday morning fixing this. So what I'm about to show you doesn't look all that much different from the last time I shared it with you, except her skirt panels, the width has been reached. So if this is as wide as it's going to be for her skirt, isn't she cute? But you see this arm needed to be repaired because, well, I made a rather large boo-boo and it didn't match the other arm, but I based the counting of this side of the skirt on that arm, which then made this incorrect. And then frogging it, because it was, you know, right around where I'd had to sew in ends and everything, it was very difficult to take out. So I ended up having to use the seam ripper, and using a seam ripper when I'm taking out stitches always makes me a little bit nervous, even though I'm very careful. My preferred way to take things out is to just, you know, take a needle and back the stitches out and just take the thread out and then restitch it. However, there were so many ends sewn in, I don't know why, that I had to use a seam ripper. It was very frustrating. So I repaired it, I fixed the error, and then I restitched what I had taken out, and then I stitched this part over here and made sure my counting was accurate so that I know now that it was ready to go for the next time I wanted to work on it. And then I put it away because by that point I'd had enough of it. I was just a bit frustrated. But she's so cute. I really love that chart. I love it. So this linen was a one-of-a-kind Leo&Roxy Floss Co. linen. And the chart is called Witch by La Di Da. And I'm using a very, very super, super dark purple Leo&Roxy Floss Co. floss in the Vampish colorway. Yeah, isn't it cute? Look at, so not, I'm pretty pleased that I actually took the time to repair it and it didn't just get tossed into the UFO pile. Because I'll tell you, I knew those ends were in there. I knew it wasn't going to be fun, and it wasn't. Not going to lie. But it's fixed. It's repaired. So now I can carry on. So yeah, anyways, there you go. If there's something that you've been putting off, maybe that will inspire you to just get in there and go for it. Just do it. You'll be pleased that you did. Next thing that, and this I'm just not having, I'm not wanting to put it down. I love it. This is the Modern Folk Embroidery Helsingland Blommer. This chart here, I love this chart. Yeah, I love this chart. I am not stitching this on white fabric with red floss. I went completely rogue and I am stitching mine on the most wild, one-of-a-kind Leo&Roxy Floss Co. 28 count linen. Look at that, look at that, right? See how much I've done since the last time I shared it with you? Quite a bit. I am using the two colors that I'm using, the darker reddish brown is called Pippi, and that corally pink is called South Beach. So this morning with my coffee, I stitched the snowflake heart flower in the center there. Oh, and it was just so nice. I love, that's the best way to start your day, isn't it? A cup of coffee and some stitching. Really, it doesn't get any better than that. So that's where I'm at. So yeah, because time has been really short and I'm not gonna lie, I've been tired. I've been getting home and work's been busy, which has been great. But I get home and I'm tired. And so this kind of stitching where I can work on the border and I don't have to look at a chart, I don't have to count, I don't have to do anything except load my needle up with floss and stitch it. It's like a little gift to myself at the end of the day because I still get to stitch, but I can do it when I'm tired. And it's so simple that it would be really difficult to make a mistake. So I talked a little bit about changing colors on a monochromatic design on Friday's Floss Toss video over on the other channel. And the way that I do it is I take a highlighter and I go into the chart and I highlight what I want to change the color of so that I can see very clearly right away what part of the design I want to change, and then I can see, you know, how it's balanced. So I already know, I'm really happy with where I've placed my secondary color so far, but I already know that I haven't added enough of that secondary color into the very middle of the chart, because the way that the chart is laid out, the center of the design is kind of right in the center of where the page turn falls. And so when I initially did my thought process for the color palette, I sort of thought I had enough, but I hadn't really considered the center. So the more I do it and the more I see that second color come to life, I already know that there's going to be more places in the very central flower that I'm going to want to add in, so that it's not super heavy on the two color on the outside four corners and not enough on the interior design. So that corner is actually entirely complete. That's entirely finished right there. Isn't it pretty? It's so pretty. It really is. Don't we have the best hobby? I'm telling you, we really do have the best hobby. It's like painting with thread. But you don't, I am not an artistic person. I know that seems funny because of the job that I do and the work that I do, but I don't know how to paint. Like, I don't know how to, I couldn't draw a picture. I draw stick figures. That's the extent of my artistic ability. I've always been very envious of people who can draw and who can paint things that look like what they're trying to draw. I have vivid memories of being a child in school and getting very stressed out in art class because, you know, we would be expected to, you know, draw something or paint something. And I always knew mine was never going to look the way that I wanted it to look. And I was probably going to feel embarrassed about how little it looked like anything remotely resembling what it was supposed to look like. But I feel like this has allowed me to have that artistic ability. You know, even though I'm following somebody else's chart, I could stitch Jacob's charts all day long. So, you know, yeah. Anyways, I digress a little bit, but I think you know what I mean. I love this project. I love it. Pure pleasure. Every time. Okay, so there's my floss. The other tip that I gave, I can't remember if I gave this on Flosstube or on one of my other videos, was to alternate skeins. If you're stitching a monochromatic design and you're using multiple skeins of overdyed, like a hand-dyed cotton or a hand-dyed, you know, overdyed silk, whatever, you're gonna wanna not just use from one skein of floss. I think I have said this on, yeah, I did say this already. I said it last week. Anyways, I'm repeating myself. That's okay. I've been alternating. I have 9 skeins of Pippi and 2 or 3 skeins of South Beach. So, yeah, love it. I'm eyeing another combination that's fairly similar with the redwood floss. If you watch the floss toss video from last Friday, you'll know what I'm talking about. But there's that floss and there's a particular linen, and they're just meant to go together. So yeah, but I need to finish something else first. Famous last words. All right, the only other thing I worked on this week is my new Modern Folk Embroidery Song of the Nightingale. Oh my good gravy. Look at that. Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing. On Friday's video, this was kind of the catalyst for Friday's video. We talked about different 3-color combinations, or 2 colors, or 4 colors, ways to make these charts your own, for your own love of whatever colors that you wish. So we had some different ideas and options for you, just for a bit of inspiration. I love this booklet chart. I carry the physical charts in my shop. All of Jacob's PDFs can be found on his shop website, which is www.modernfolkembroidery.com. If you prefer stitching from PDFs, if you like physical copies, we carry them in the shop. I love that he included a woodblock painting on the back here. I love that. It's like it's a really nicely done little publication. So that's the chart. I am stitching this with the colors that Jacob came up for this design in particular, which are the Leo&Roxy Floss Co. Just Navy, Delft, and Ochre. Yeah. Love that combo. Love, love, love that combination. It's just gorgeous. Gorgeous. I think I had finished the interior motif the last time the first time I, oh, and you know what? My camera tripod is just sitting on my fabric, so pardon the, oop, there you go. You were sitting on my fabric. That's where I'm at now. So this is a piece of 46 count linen. This is the Leo&Roxy Flosstube porcelain. The different counts of porcelain, and of course they're like dye lots, each one is slightly different. Some of them have a little more color, slightly more subtle modeling on them. Each one is unique. They all look great with those color combinations. Porcelain is one of those linens that I'd be hard pressed to find stuff that didn't look good on it. Yeah. Oh, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. And 46 count, it's tiny and delicate and just gorgeous. So 46 count, I think you can just get away with 1/8 of a yard of fabric. The other counts, 1/8 of a yard isn't quite enough to give you a solid enough border for framing. But if you can always do these calculations yourself using a fabric calculator, fabric and stitch count calculator. There's several of them available. I think Yarn Tree has one online, and there's an app you can get from the App Store if you're an Apple user at least. I don't know anything about Android, but it is, what's it called again? X Stitch Calc. And I think that I heard about that app from Country Stitchers. Pretty sure it was an app that they had recommended, and I use it all the time. It's very, very useful, very handy. You can just plug in the numbers of your stitch count, the count of fabric that you're using, how much border you want to include, and it will give you the math. It does the math for you for what you need to do. So yeah, I can't tell you enough about how much I love this piece. So Carrie, she brought her Song of the Nightingale on Friday, and we shared both of our work because she started over on the right hand side. So she has the whole top right corner completely done, and it's stunning. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to getting there. Anyway, yeah, it's one of those pieces where you stitch it and you just think, oh, this is so good. It's so beautiful. You know, I'm sure you talk to yourself while you're stitching too. I can't be the only one. I can't be the only one. One more stitching thing to share with you today before I talk a little bit about some personal stuff, and that is whatever happened to. I've got a whatever happened to for you today because this piece has been on my mind lately. Are you ready? Whatever happened to the Sweetheart Tree Teeny Bee Scap? Anyone out there remember this one? Do you remember this one? I started this in the first summer of the pandemic. I'm pretty sure this was from 2020, the summer. I think I started it as a high tea start. If you don't know what high tea was, I don't do it anymore, but I used to the first Sunday of every month, I would have a high tea new start. So high tea is something very special. If you go to a hotel and you have high tea with your family or a friend, it's a special tea service that they bring out, and a bunch of, you know, beautiful, delicate petit four and crustless sandwiches and all kinds of wonderful things to eat, and a very beautiful pot of tea. And it's special. It's not something that you would ever do every day. It's also usually quite pricey if you go to a pretty fancy hotel and have high tea. So high tea for stitching, what I did was I decided that every first Sunday of every month I would take something from my stash that I'd been saving, something that was special in my stash that I was saving. And what am I saving it for? So I decided that first Sunday I was going to start whatever it was that I'd been saving, that had been in my stash, that was special, so that I can enjoy it. I am a process stitcher. Starting things and enjoying the pleasure of kitting it all up and seeing it come to life, that's the love of the hobby for me. So I don't mind having lots and lots of whips in the stash pile. So, but I have things that I've never started, and I've paid for them. They're in my stash, so why wouldn't I enjoy them? So I thought, this was from this was one of my high tea new starts. Anyways, there you go. That's what high tea was. We should do it again. We really should. So here is where the teeny bee skep was. Oh, I didn't tell you anything about it, did I? This was a kit. Everything that you needed to stitch this design was all kitted up. It's a sweetheart tree pattern designed by Sandra Cox Vanisdahl, who is the sweetheart tree. And I think you can still get these kits, if I'm not mistaken. I know that a couple summers ago when I started this, I know Ryan, Rai Magai, I believe he purchased something similar that was, you know, fully kitted up like this as a sweetheart tree kit. I think you can still get them. Don't quote me, but I think so. And they're lovely. They're fully kitted up. Everything that you need is in this little sort of plastic case. Open it up, you're ready to go. So I've got my little fabric square on. Now it's a very stiff, what is it? I think it's a lamb's wool linen. What do they call it? Yeah, lamb's wool linen. And it's a Witchelt fabric. If you've ever stitched on that, you know exactly what I mean by that feel of it. It's very, very stiff. So it's 35 count lamb's wool linen. It comes with the DMC floss needed to stitch it, some Krynic silver cable, and a Threadworks, and a Threadworks floss as well. That's the variegated floss, I think. I think so, anyways. And a couple of charms and some beads. Everything needed to stitch the entire thing, and of course the chart as well. So here's where, this is how much I had finished when I put it back in its project bag. And it has lain dormant in its project bag since then. So there you can see that. Isn't it cute? It's so cute. Yeah, I love that. So over the last month, I don't know why, but I've been thinking about it, and I really would like to, I don't know if I'm going to finish it in the next month or so. I know it's small, but time, time. But, you know, I could certainly pick out a thread and a little section, and I could complete something. Like I could fill in the bee skep, or I could do these lines, this back stitching that's underneath there. I've already done, I can't remember what the heck was that called. Now that I'm looking at it, let's see if we can look it up. All of the instructions, there are specialty stitches on these kits. I don't think I'm giving anything away because these are just instructions that I'm gonna quickly flash up here. In the kit, all of the instructions that are needed to complete those specialty stitches are included right in with the chart. Cross stitch with surface weaving. That's what I really also like about this. The instructions are quite clear. They are numbered in order of what you should be working on next. So row 1, rows 2 and 11, row 3, row 4. Row 11 is clearly the same as row 2. That's what that means. But it's kind of like a, you know, paint by numbers sort of thing, as it were, and very clear, very, very good instructions on the specialty stitches. I know we just had this conversation about specialty stitches, didn't we? And maybe that's why this little guy hasn't been finished, but I don't think so, because they're little bite-sized specialty stitches. That isn't going to annoy me. 100 million gajillion of them in Papillon Creations How Does Your Garden Grow? That just wasn't my cup of tea. But this has enough cross stitch and back stitch, and it comes together. You can see it quickly. I think I'll be okay. I won't be giving this one away. So yeah, anyways, whatever happened to the Sweetheart Tree Tiny Bee Skep, now you know. And I've been thinking about it, so I would really love to get back, stitch a little bit more on it. Now I have to keep everything together. See, I've got all the little packages. These were all in my project bag all together, the beads and the, I haven't taken the floss out of the bag because I don't want to lose anything. So everything has to go right back into the project bag when I'm done chatting with you. Okay, so before I have share some personal chit chat with you, I just wanted to let you know that on Monday of next week, August 15th, I'm going to be releasing the next kit collaboration at Evertote with Macy of Quaint Rose Needle Arts. And it's a good one. It's a really, I'm excited about it. Ellen has stitched the model. It's beautiful. The bag is beautiful. The chart is beautiful. The linens and the floss, like it's a really good one. So I'm very excited to share that with you on Monday. Now at the same time, Macy was working on that collaborative chart together with Leo&Roxy Flosstube and also Evertote because of the bag and the fabric of the bag. She has designed the second in the series of her Quaint Quakers. If you remember, a few months back she released the Quaint Quakers Spring, and that's this chart here. So I figure other stitchers get to talk about their haul. This is my haul, really. So this chart, look at the pigs. I'm in love with those pigs. And so Macy charted this and stitched the model using Leo&Roxy floss. This has been in the shop for a little while and would look amazing on porcelain, the Leo&Roxy Flosstube linen. Yeah, isn't it cute? Well, she's just released Summer. So this is the brand new Quaint Quakers second of the series. There will be 4. So this is the second one, and look at the crabs. I am in love with those crabs. They are so cute. And look at that flower. Look at that border. Isn't it beautiful? So that is Fuzzy Peach. That's the floss that she used there. She used Fuzzy Peach. Oh, there's some great flosses in there. Anyways, the whole floss list is on the, we have the chart in the shop. You can get the PDFs through Macy's Etsy shop, Quaint Rose Needle Arts, and I have the physical copies of the charts, and also we have floss packs for these as well. Again, I think this would look perfect on porcelain. Isn't that good? I love how they work together. They're different enough that you're going to enjoy stitching a different design, but they look like they belong together. So I'm really excited to see what she comes up with for the following 2 seasons. Yeah. So Monday, next Monday, I'll have a video up on the other channel with more information on the new collaboration. Okay, so personal, just a bit of personal chit chat here at the end. If you're still here with me, and we've been friends for a really long time, I usually like to, let you know stuff that's going on in my life. It's all good, no bad. It's all good. There's no bad stuff going on. Luna is improving. Thank you so much to everyone who has asked after Luna, my dog. Luna had a pretty serious bladder infection a few weeks back and was actually the reason why I missed out on a family vacation. She is definitely better. The vet had given her the all clear. We had some more tests done afterwards, and the vet had given her the all clear, but she is continuing to occasionally have the odd accident in the house, which was kind of the initial tell that she's had a bladder infection before, so we kind of knew that something was up, and that actually hasn't stopped as completely as it did the last time. So I think I need to take her in again. Other than that, she's totally, like, you'd never know. She's like most dogs, right? They don't talk. They are pretty stoic, and she's happy, and she's not overly worrying at like over licking her paws or anything like that. So she's doing quite well. Thank you to everyone who has asked. She is 9 years old now, so she is slowing down a little bit. She can always be found close to me, sleeping. She's not here today. Nicholas requested that I leave her at home with him today because he's not been home a lot over the last month, and he was missing her a lot. So I left her there with him so they could hang out together for the day. So yeah, Luna's doing really well. I mentioned at the beginning of the video today about Hearthside Craftworks. So John is going to be heading to Calgary at the end of this month. And in fact, he's taking the kids with him too. They're kind of turning it into, they're going to have some fun, do a few fun things. But during the day, he's going to be working, training, learning from John Wilkes, the creator behind Hearthside Craftworks. John and his wife, Helen. And Helen is a stitcher, and John created the stand for her. And so I've had my Mark II floor frame for about 15 years now. It's been a long time. I've used it faithfully almost every day for the last 15 years. It's a fantastic frame. And so my John is making a really big life change. Now, it's not because of Hearthside Craftworks. This was kind of coming for a while that he was ready to step back a little bit from his small business. My husband John is one of the owners of a local computer shop here in London, Ontario, and it's been sort of in the cards for a while that he would sort of start to step back a little bit from that business. It was through a few of you, I started talking about my floor frame and recommending Hearthside Craftworks, and several viewers wrote in to me to say they've retired, and I didn't know. So on their website, they had mentioned, willing to discuss transferring, somebody else purchasing the business and taking it on. And so I discussed it with John, and he was up for the idea. So he has spent the last month clearing out our garage at home and transforming it into a woodworking shop. And so he is going to be, come September, he's going to be completely transforming his day-to-day work life. And he's going to be, now he's doing a few other things as well. He does all of the books, the book work for my business, as well as his business with his partner. That the computer business is not shutting down. He and his business partner, the other partner, is going to be taking on the bulk of that business, and John is going to continue to do all of the bookkeeping as well. So he's going to still be a busy guy. He's not close to retiring or anything like that, and he's the kind of person that he would be very unhappy if he didn't have something keeping him fulfilled and busy every day. He's a busy, active guy. And so, but yeah, come September 1st, this is a big change. This is a really, really, really big change for our family. And you know, the fact that our lives have kind of done this. I frequently get comments from people, and I don't often address this, from people who say, I really miss your videos from the cottage. And that's the whole reason behind the name of this channel, Off the Grid Needlearts. It's why I named the channel that, because I used to live there all summer. I would go up when the kids were done school for the summer, and we would live there for, you know, 2.5 months every summer. And Evertote, I used to be a private music teacher, and then Evertote became more than something I could do part-time. It became full-time, and then it became more than full-time. So that transition happened that I could, as of last summer, I couldn't work from the cottage anymore. I couldn't live at the cottage, and I couldn't work from the cottage. And so things, life, your life goes through. It's funny that we just talked about the Quaker seasons, because this is just another season of our lives, and I miss it too. You know, there's no question about the fact that I miss not living there in the summer. But this means that my husband now has a chance to, probably as of next summer, he will get a chance to live there and work from there in the summer. And so to be able to do that and give him that opportunity in his life is it's, you know, we're still in early days here, early stages, but yeah, it's a big transition for us and how we do things as a family. And yeah, I couldn't do any of this without him, because he has taken over the majority of, you know, the household stuff, including Nicholas did a grade 9 geography online summer school class this summer. Oh my goodness. Yeah. If this is a taste of what's to come, holy cow. So yeah, John was instrumental in helping Nicholas, you know, navigate that. And so yeah, life for us is really changing. Our daughter is, you know, almost graduated university. She's grown and leaving the nest. Our son is starting high school, and my husband is completely changing his work and his daily routine as well. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on with us personally. Lots of big changes. So, but all really good changes. And so yeah. So yes, I see your comments and I read your comments all, and I love them. And for those of you who miss my videos at the cottage, I miss them too. But you know, this is a season. I fully expect to be, you know, up there again, probably a little more than I have been over the last couple of years. But you know, when you run your own business, you have to be the one that makes things work. So in order for that to happen, that's just the way it had to be for the last couple of years. So anyways, I do miss being there as well, but I'm pretty lucky that I love my job. I love my job. I love being able to get to do this every single day. So it's not really a hardship that I'm not living at the cottage in the summer. I do get to go there as well, you know. So yeah, anyways, that's it. I think that's caught you all up on all the personal stuff and all my stitching stuff as well. So I will be back next week, next Tuesday, with another Flosstube video. I'm going to visit my mom this weekend. I'm going to go and visit my mom, and I already know what stitching I'm taking with me. So I'll share it with you next week, what I make some progress on. So until I see you next week, There are some videos over on the Evertote channel if you weren't done visiting with me quite just yet. But until then, I hope that you're well, I hope that you're safe, and I hope that you have lots of crafting to keep you happy. Take care, everybody. Happy stitching.